Welcome back, everybody. I just want to say thank you, first off, to everybody who has been watching the videos and subscribing. As of this morning, I think I'm sitting right at 500. To me, that's huge. I mean, I didn't know there was probably 500 people that are interested in what I was doing, but I do appreciate that. On our way towards 1,000, so maybe we can start making a couple bucks and supporting this project. But I was thinking, I've been kicking around the idea, I've got something, maybe doing a little giveaway once we get a little closer to 1,000 subscribers. I've got an extra set of the 6-liter flex fuel injectors that are brand new that I'm thinking about possibly giving away once we get closer to 1,000 subscribers, once we kind of get closer to that mark. So, but anyway, I wanted to say thank you to start off. So I did a little work the other night without the camera. I got the gauges installed. Everything's plugged in. I have not tested them yet because I actually do not have a battery cable yet. But everything in the cab is pretty much tidied up. Like the last video, I have not touched anything down there. I went ahead and put this in. One little thing that I have not really looked into yet is all the screws. This cluster mount, this panel here, I ended up getting a reproduction one with the gauges just because it looked a little nicer than the one I had. It's got the chrome on it where mine was all painted black. Mine was original with the truck, but I can only get 4 screws in, the 2 in the top and the 2 in the bottom. The ones on the edge here on both sides do not line up with the hole. They are just ever so slightly off. So I'm going to take that back off and see if I can fiddle with the little tabs that go in there and have a threaded insert, so I can see if I can get those extra 2 screws in, just so it looks uniform. Because right now you can see that there's just no screw in there. So need to mess with that. I haven't really jacked around with that much yet, but they look good. I love these gauges. I bought these from Travis and Nick down at AZ Pro Performance down in Phoenix. I think they're out in, I'm probably going to get this wrong, but I think it's Mesa or Tempe. I'm not sure. But I'll throw a link in the description. These are a set of gauges that are made custom for them. Nobody else can get these. These are the VHX gauges. I had looked into the HDX, but I'll be honest, at $500 extra, I wasn't too excited about a color screen. So, and then they came out with this, where they have a kind of a retro. This is not even something that Dakota Digital will sell you. So this is something from them, but it's kind of it's a retro face that looks very similar to the stock gauges that were in here. Obviously, the gauges on the bottom there are not stock looking, but the same font type that is anyway. But really like them. My wife really likes them because they kind of blend in with the truck, but all digital and work with the LS and everything like that. So they're slick. So I'll put a link down below in the description where I got these from and who to talk to. So other than that, I have been out in the engine bay. I kind of started routing wires the way I want them to go. When I first wired this truck with the American Auto Wire harness, I had left a bunch of slack in that corner. Just for this very reason. I had the wire when I did it. So what I did is I just had it just tucked down between the inner fender and the actual fender. So what I did was I pulled that back out, and I had to use up the slack on this side because the starter's in a little bit different spot, and I'm routing the wires just a little bit differently than how I had them with the stock 350. So that worked out perfect. And then this group of wires here that comes forward, I use the slack to, and I kind of wish I would have thought of this the first time, but I needed the wires basically for my headlights, for the trigger wires here. So what I'm going to use these is I'm going to cut this, run them through some relays to get trigger my headlights. So straight off the battery instead of running it through the bulkhead and the switch. So get a lot brighter bulbs. I have the Hella E-codes in here with the H4 bulbs, and they're fairly bright, but running straight off the battery, they're going to be really bright. So right now it's a zip-tied mess, but what I've done is I've just kind of draped the wires kind of where I want to go. I actually need to modify just a little bit more to get this to sit back in a little bit further. But that's kind of how it is. This here is going to be my feed wire for both the relays. For the headlights, it is a 14 gauge, I want to say it's a THX wire, or TXL. TXL, that's right. THX is home theater, but TXL, it's an automotive grade. I buy this stuff from wirebarn.com. It's got good heat resistance for the engine bay here. So that's going to run all the way over to the battery. I'm actually going to have a fuse panel on the side over there that I'm going to work on today as well. So that's going to trigger that's going to power both these relays, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to jump from one relay to the other. get that set up. So then I'm going to work on my 3 relays over there. I also got, so I'm going to feed my my fuse panel here. This right here. This is a nice little piece here I picked up. It's actually for a boat, but it's perfect. It's got 4 slots in it for my four circuits I'm putting in. But I'm going to run the alternator down to the starter is going to be a 6-gauge wire with a fuse. So I'm going to use some of that 6-gauge to run off the battery terminal. The positive is going to be on the engine side over here. It's going to run down and around to my fuse panel, which is going to be back here somewhere yet. I haven't figured out where I'm going to put it. I originally was going to put it here, but then I thought about putting my coolant overflow here as well. I'm going to buy one of those cylindrical ones. So I'm not sure. I'm thinking about putting it back here just so it's protected, because, you know, if those fuses ever do go, I can just unhook the battery and rock it out of the way and get in there no problem. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I ended up getting, so this is going to be a 6-gauge feed wire. So I ended up getting a fusible link for that feed there. And the way a fusible link is, it's 4 gauges smaller than the wire you're feeding. So 6 gauge, so I ended up buying a 10 gauge fusible link. I just didn't want to put another fuse in there. And this is just for dead short protection, which it shouldn't happen. You know, and I'm literally going probably 18 inches back to the fuse panel, but nonetheless, if this wire were to chafe on something or something weird would have happened, I want it to be protected so I don't burn the truck down. So that's what that's for. So GM's use those. My American Auto Wire harness actually has those down there. That pink wire, well, not the pink wire, but there's a brown wire down there. That is actually a fusible link, just as protection, so that if things go haywire, we don't burn it down. So got that. Those are my fuel pump wires. They're my 10 gauge fuel pump wires. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to start working here, getting everything lined up. Oh, I did have one more thing. I bought, I'm going to build an intake for the truck here. So I bought a mandrel bend. Actually, this is from Summit. It's a 4-inch mandrel bend, which to me is comically huge for an intake, but that's what size the throttle body is. So I went ahead and the throttle body is 4-inch, and the MAF sensor is actually 3 3/4, I believe. So I'll have to put a step down reducer on that. But my thoughts are, I'm going to take this U-bend here, and I'm going to build a section that comes out like this, have a tab that comes over and attaches to this factory shroud mount here, so it kind of holds it up here. So this is my wire here. Put the MAF sensor here, and then take it and go down and put my filter down here somewhere. So it'll probably turn, 45 degrees or so, and put the filter down here just to suck a little cleaner air, a little less hot air. I may put a hole in the core support here, let a little air in, but there's plenty of holes all around the headlight down below here. Plenty of air gets in here. I just wanted to get it away from the engine to get a little cooler air, just so the IATs aren't skyrocketing. So that's that. It just looks comically huge. And then I just bought a Summit filter here. It's a 7-inch filter, nothing big. It honestly looks just like a K&N, so I'm wondering if K&N makes these for them. Same instructions and all. So that's it. So I'm going to get after it today. I don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to start rocking and try to get some of this stuff wired in. So I've still got my buddy's crimpers, and I've had them for about a month now, so I'm sure he's probably wondering when I'm going to bring them back. So I'm going to try to do what I can do to get these things ironed out today. All right, so I've been busy here. I've got everything routed the way I want to on the driver's side here. I got my relays mounted. I ended up just using a hole that was already in the firewall for the low beam relay, and then the high beam I just kind of followed. There's a line here, a crease in the core support there. So I mounted both of those. I've got all my wires situated. I went ahead and labeled them all. I've got my left headlight, my right headlight, low and high, and then I've also got my trigger wires that are coming from the bulkhead and the switch. And what I did was I just kind of lengthened all these wires. All these originally ran into the back of this here. Well, I've got an extra set because I've broken it back out. But the headlight on the passenger's or driver's side here was the junction point for the passenger side. So I broke them back out, crimped new terminals on the end for the headlight there. So I'm just going to wire those in, wire them into the relay. I'm going to wire the power a little bit differently than most of the kits available. I'm in the American Water Wire headlight relay kit and a couple others. They wire it so that the first relay feeds the second relay. And the way they do that is you feed power in from the battery on 30 like you normally do. Since this is a normally closed relay, say I hit the high beams, the low beam relay will close, turn off the power, and it will transfer power to terminal 87. So what I'm going to do is take advantage of that so that when I click the high beam relay, this one shuts off, power runs through it, through 30, out 87, into 30 on this one, so that the relays kind of piggyback on each other. These relays are rated for, I'm going to say they're 30 amps open. Well, 30 amps when you use the open to the triggered terminal, and 20 amps when they're closed, when that's not triggered. And that's kind of confusing, but when it's just sitting here idle, it's rated for 20 amps. These halogen bulbs, I got the H4s. I think they draw like 4 amps on the low beams and 6 amps on the high beams. So it's not much. We're not anywhere near that 20 amp rating. So I'm going to kind of show how I'm going to wire that up. I've got, well, I actually have it kind of sitting here. So this is upside down, but the way that I work it here is the wire on the left side over here is coming from the battery. This wire coming out of the center is actually terminal 87. Is that right? Yeah, 87. That feeds, and then this is just going to jump over and feed the relay next to it. I haven't put those wires on because these are kind of funny. You actually have to put the wire, they seat backwards, so you have to take the wire and push it in from this side. So I've got to route that into the next terminal up and then clamp it. So I know that sounds confusing, but I'll kind of show how that works. So I got everything organized on zip tie mania here. Everything looks good, everything works out, so I'm going to go ahead and start putting some terminal on here real quick. All right, so I got this all wired up now. I tried to videotape it, but I just wasn't enough room to try to get in here and do everything I needed to do. My arm actually kept getting in front of the camera, so I couldn't show you what I was doing. But here it all is. It's all tidied up now. It's still in zip ties. I'm going to do the other side next with the fuel and then both the fans. So there'll be 3 relays over there. So I'm going to take all these zip ties off. The zip ties are just kind of routing, so different. I mean, there's zip ties on zip ties on zip ties in here. But I'm going to take it back off and put the harness tape on it so it looks real nice and factory-like, even though this never came from the factory. But so everything went together really well. It's a nice way to kind of integrate it with the truck harness here to get the headlights to power it straight from the battery. So they'll be nice and bright. Everything will be nice and tidy when I put the loom back on. So my little jumper wire here worked really well, just going from one to the other. You can see the other 12 gauge wire. It kind of goes out this way and goes. That's going to go over to the battery. Yeah, just went really well. So nice and tidy. It kind of hides back in here. Once you get the loom on it, and everything's black back here, so you won't see anything. This actually looks a lot dirtier than it really is. The camera's making everything look filthy, but there are some metal shavings down there I need to clean up. But yeah, that's it. So everything went well. I am probably going to go ahead and call it a day. I got pretty late here, so as per usual, my anal attentiveness got the best of me, and I just took my sweet time with this, and everything worked out perfect. So I can't complain. So next time I am going to work on the other side and get all those relays set up over there. You can see my wiring mess right now. Everything's just kind of zip tie heaven here. Just kind of run it the way I want to do it. I've tried masking tape, but it's kind of a pain in the rump, so I just use zip ties. I just go buy them from Harbor Freight, just the cheap ones. You can see I change directions a lot, so I just cut them off. So, it's like $6 for a giant pail of those things, so that's how I do it. Actually, I don't even think it's that much. I think I got these for $1.99 for like 1,000 of them. But anyway, that's kind of it for today. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Just kind of still plugging along with electrical. I'm hoping to get the rest of it done this week over there so I can reloom it all and start working on fuel lines, transmission lines, put the column back in, seat back in, just start wrapping things up so that I can get it back over onto the lift so I can do everything on the bottom, because I put the brake lines on. Well, actually, the 2 right here are missing, but I need to take them and flush them out and clean them and tighten everything down. Just kind of do a final once through everything like these down here. There are no lines right now. I took them out when I put the motor in. So just tidying some stuff up and getting things organized and run. So anyway, I do appreciate everybody watching. If you'd like to, please subscribe. I'd love to. Like I said earlier, I think actually I just looked and I think we hit 500. So that's awesome. I'm thinking about doing that giveaway to help drum up some interest in the channel. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there, and YouTube's a huge place. So trying to find stuff you like is hard sometimes. So if you like what you see, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends, tell them about it. You know, I'd love to keep doing this and keep kind of sharing what little knowledge I do have, and you know, just go from there. So appreciate it, and I hope everybody has a good Sunday. Thank you for watching.